What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Engineers Without Filters podcast, episode 5. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson. Tonight, I'm drinking hot chocolate because I'm sick.
I'm Gabe Tillman. I'm drinking PBR again.
I'm Joseph DeGrandchamp, and I'm sticking with the Molson for another week.
And I'm Dayton Pax, and I am double fisting hot chocolate with peppermint schnapps and a Hams.
Jesus Christ.
Wild man over here.
Pour it into one cup.
Your stomach might not like that later on.
Nah, it's gonna love it.
He's still young.
It's his ass he has to worry about.
Well, thanks again for listening, guys. Reminder again, make sure to follow us on Instagram at EWF Podcast. We're also on Twitter, but nobody seems to care that much, so Instagram is the place to be. And if you like the show, make sure to share it with your friends. All right. First topic this week, we're going to talk about music a little bit. I think we all, music is a part of all of our lives in kind of a big way. We all listen to different genres and listen to it different ways, so I'm going to throw it to you, Gabe, first, because you want to talk about it the most.
Oh, yeah. I've got lots to talk about.
What's your music taste, and also how do you listen to music usually?
Yeah, so I definitely get my music taste, like, from my dad, like, almost exclusively. Like, it's all from his tastes, like, just listening to it in the car, like, his pirated music that we listen to. But it's mostly, like, it's any, like, hard rock, a little bit of metal, and then I can even go, like, pop rock, all rock. It's mostly rock stuff. Mm-hmm. Lately I've been expanding it a little bit, but it's always been, like, that type of thing. And something about guitars, like, electric guitars, has always been really, like, satisfying, I guess. And I don't know, I feel like it's not the type of music that you can just play. Like, whenever we have a party, we don't play my music. Like, it's not something that, like, it's just not something, you know, you have a party to.
What, you don't want to listen to Mastodon?
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, I have so much. Where do I even start with this topic? So
let me ask you this: do you listen to a lot of different like periods, or is it mostly like recent stuff, or like you go back to old stuff also?
Yeah, so it's mostly I have like probably 25 like artists that I like watch, I guess. Okay. And then like if they come out with new albums, I'll listen to them. But lately, just recently, I've been listening. Well, I say recently. Within the last couple of years, I've switched from just listening to a playlist to the album straight front to back, which is way better. Because that's the way they meant it. Yeah, Joseph's fine. He told me to do it, and it's totally true. That's the way the artist meant for it to be. And I've been getting super into concept albums. There isn't a whole lot of them.
I love concept albums.
There isn't a whole lot of them, I feel like, now these days. But they're coming back. But I love those because, like, going front to back on those is awesome. And they all have, like, a theme. Or, like, the one album from Mastodon is, like, a story. And, like, it just, like, it takes you through, like, this awesome, like, journey. And you can, like... I don't know. It's like a book. I don't know. It's like a story with music.
It's an audio book.
Yeah. And like the other one, it's called Tremonti. They have
I know Tremonti.
a fucking fantastic album that came out this year. When the Spotify statistics come out, I don't want to see how many times I've listened to that at the end of the year.
I'm excited for that.
I know.
I always like those. Those are interesting.
I listen to it so much, but it just tells a story from like, you can take it in multiple perspectives. And the ability to do that, like, imagine, like, when you're in a book, you can be like, Sally said, fuck you, bitch boy said this. Like, it's very clear.
Very, very solid dialogue and characters.
It's very clear. It's very clear who says what, but, like, in music, you have to get more creative.
Yeah.
So, like, in Mastodon's case, like, everyone in the band but one player sings. So, like, another person sings, that's the second person. And now, in this case, like, you have to just pick up on the context. So that's something I really look forward to. As far as, like, when I listen to it, I guess it's more, like, I don't listen to it. I listen to it passively, like, in the car all the time. Like, my brother, if he's not listening, I was gonna say a shout out, but he doesn't listen. He doesn't like music. He will, like, whenever I ride with him, he drives in fucking silence.
That's fucking creepy as shit.
It is creepy.
That is really
like, I would rather listen to ads than, like, nothing.
Does he listen to anything, like any podcast or anything at all?
No. He doesn't listen to
audiobooks?
music.
No. He likes the sound of silence.
He plays. He's a video game person. That's
I'm too afraid to be with my own thoughts to listen in silence.
Road noise just doesn't do it.
Anyway, so it's mostly like school and work. Those are the two big things. So Cooper, he's gonna be listening. What up, Cooper? Your music sucks. But whenever we would study, like he listens to his like happy-go-lucky shit.
It's very poppy.
It's very pop, which is fine. Like whatever, people like different shit. And he's just like, oh, this is great. I'm just studying, and this is like ding ding. Like I don't know. And then like whenever I have my music like on speakers, like it's a little bit more like punishing than his, I guess.
It's a lot more abrasive.
Yeah, it's more abrasive. That's a good word.
But also, you're probably desensitized to it now.
Yeah,
like, you're totally fine with it, but somebody who's never heard before would probably be like, ooh, I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, especially if there's like some screaming in it, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I'm not like all screamo. Let's make that clear. But I like a tad of it. But like to him, that's like how can you focus when you have music? But to me, that like pumps me up. It keeps me like motivated. It keeps me up.
Get you going to complete that homework.
Yeah.
It's like that's a good question. Like how do you listen to music to feel certain feelings, or is it just?
I'm not one to like listen to a playlist when I'm sad.
As in, like, this is my sad playlist.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not something that I do. It's more of like, I don't know. I appreciate the art of it. I guess it's more of like an appreciation, and it's like the perfect thing to do when you're doing something else. Mm-hmm. But I don't know about you guys. I guess again, I've been kind of stealing the talking.
Well, let me ask one last question here.
Yeah.
What's more important to you, music or lyrics?
Lyrics, absolutely. There's a lot of bands that I think are musically sound, but their lyrics are just dog shit.
Yeah.
Like there was one concert I went to this summer, and the first 3 opening bands said the same fucking thing. Like, this song's about standing up for what you believe in. And then like you just like they're musically okay, it's fine, but it's like
it's the most generic ass
so
shit.
fucking generic. Like
I mean, that's what if you turn on the radio, turn on the top 40, every single song. There's like 3
fucking
topics,
love
you know,
song.
love song or a club song
or sex,
or it's a motivational song. Like they're all the same shit over and over and over again.
And I think like obviously every genre has its own like I guess topics. I think I really like rock because it's not afraid to like say like some unpopular things, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's like anti-government type of a deal, but some of it, the topics are like really interesting, and they like bring up an interesting topic. Like, for example, one song is like my favorite song of this album, and it's just about how he tells like you bullshit yourself to like believe something. Like if you did something bad, you'll just lie to yourself to like make you feel better.
You'll find some way to justify it.
And like he's aware of that, and he's like, you know, fuck me for this. Like it's really cool. And the other one is like when he wrote the album when like the 2016 election went on, so like obviously shit went down. So he was just like, the one lyric I love is like, fear the left, fear the right. Like everyone's trying to get each other. Like that stuff is really cool to me. And like when I listen to new albums, I can't do the studying in the school thing. I have to like sit down. I'll sit down for it and then run through it at least once, sometimes twice. Then it's background music. But when I find new music, I have to sit down, make sure it has decent lyrics, make sure it isn't dog shit, and then I listen to it in the background.
Yeah. Joseph, what are your musical hobbies?
So I'm kind of almost similar to Gabe in the way that I definitely get my basis in music from my dad. I grew up listening to like the classic rock stations, you know, Leonard Skinner, the Rolling Stones,
AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC here and there, but you know, like those classic, like they're not like jam bands, but you know,
the
like
80s rock,
70s, 80s, like
the oldies,
big show band, big show bands kind of deal. And so I listened to that for quite a while. I still do, just not nearly as much. But yeah, in high school I got really into albums, just like pouring through albums, and like when I met Gabe, he used to listen to playlists, and I'm like, bruh,
it's so much better.
Try listening to the full album straight through. And actually, our housemate Josh, I did the same thing with him.
Yeah.
Josh didn't used to listen to albums?
No, I got him into that
because he has vinyls now and shit.
Yeah. And so I started something. So I feel pretty good. But more recently, my music taste has more gotten into like bluesy kind of stuff. I can't think of any. I guess like Eric Clapton for another like classic thing, but like I don't listen to a lot of like big bands out there.
When you say like bluesy, like what does that mean exactly? Because when I think of like blues, I think of like jazz or like.
So
it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Blues is I don't know how to describe it, but it's.
What are the main instruments?
So it's usually, very guitar heavy.
Yeah.
There is some brass in it, so like trumpets,
Okay,
there's jazz elements to it, but like the music style is a lot. I almost want to say heavier, like.
I like that.
Not heavy and like heavy
Some
rock
blues.
If
but
they don't
like
have 4 bass guitars, get the hell out of here.
but the sound itself is like thick. If that makes I
How many
I know what kind
Like
of
it's
music
rich?
you're talking
Like it's
about.
rich?
So like, I know.
it's
sound
like
saying.
like just really like you can tell the guitarist or like there's other like stringed instruments that they'll use like I forget what they're called, but like mostly guitar, you can really feel them dig into it, and like you can feel the emotion,
like the passion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's not like the like jam band of like a country kind of thing where it's like the more higher pitched.
Like
Yeah.
Through the Fire and the Flames.
Sure,
He's country bands.
I don't
Through
know.
the fire and the flames.
I mean, like it's not like bluegrass.
It's not like bluegrass, but it's I don't know.
I know
it's
what
a
you're
rich
saying.
sound,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy that.
That's cool.
To me, it sounds like more deliberate.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
when I think of like a band like Through the Fire and the Flames from Guitar Hero 3,
Yeah.
where it's just like they're just like mashing on this guitar, and then I think of blues, it's like they definitely sound more deliberate.
And they're like caressing
And-
the guitar.
Yeah,
And-
versus just like strumming it as fast as you can.
and like blues. I like blues lyrics because it's very old style blues is very organized. There's the first line, the second line is a repetition of the first line, and then the third line is like a resolvement of it or whatever. So like there's a progression through it,
Interesting.
but so it always fits that format. But blues is interesting in general because they kind of say like, yeah, I've been through some shit, but that shit's in the past. I'm feeling good now, like,
Yeah.
or like I know I'm in shit. It's
Right.
not like the angsty emo lyrics, like
Yeah.
like you
Like
know,
they've accepted it.
I'm in
Like,
high
Valentine.
school and people are jerks and
okay, but let's be real. All of us like
Oh,
that music.
oh,
I still
yeah.
enjoy that
No,
music.
no. It's decent music, but I'm saying lyrically, like it's
Yeah.
not similar to like that angsty. Like it's
Yeah.
not angsty lyrics.
Lyrics are so huge. Like it really makes or breaks things.
But not to
Not,
me.
not to everyone.
To me,
Really?
There's a
it's-
reason the Migos are so popular.
Yeah.
I don't even know who they are.
The slippery.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the mumble rap shit.
Yeah.
I hate it because the lyrics are completely pointless, but it's got a good beat and it's good for
Right.
parties and good for
Yeah.
dancing. So it has its purpose. It's just not the purpose that we would use.
I gotta
I-
ask you, Joseph. How do you listen to? So like you're an album person.
Yeah.
Like you showed me that.
Yeah.
But, but for me, I'll listen to like 2 or 3 albums for like a couple months, and then I'll swap to the next one. Are you like the same way, or do you just burn through album after album, like you said earlier?
I honestly,
What's your rotation?
Because I just stick to like 30 songs for like 2 months and just can't stop.
I
So
definitely
fast.
don't go that hardcore into it. I have like a couple, like on my Spotify, I have a couple that I really like, and I'll just like when I'm driving, I'll just make a queue and I'll just say, okay, this album, add that to the queue. Oh, I haven't listened to this album in a while. Throw that in.
You're on your
And-
phone while you're in the car?
While I'm
Play it off
parked.
USBs.
Huh?
You play music off USBs in your car.
Yeah, but it's albums. Or for long trips, I'll connect my Spotify because I have Bluetooth.
Can you explain to people what the USBs in
So-
the car is?
So you know how most cars they have like a USB port, and usually people plug in like a cable to put their iPhone in. I figured, why bother with that? I just bought like a flash drive and pirated a bunch of music and threw it on. I mean, that's what I did, and I threw it all on there, and I just plugged it in my car, and I can access it through like my car stereo. So I always have music playing through that. So like in that respect, I kind of get like I haven't updated it in
Years.
probably a year.
Yeah.
At least a year.
Doesn't that get
You have
stale?
some of the same songs as you did from like
Oh
second
yeah,
year.
I don't take the music off ever. I'll
Oh,
add more
okay.
music to it because I think it's like a 32 gig flash drive or
Okay.
something. So like I've got a ton of storage that I'm probably not going to fill up.
Mhm.
But that's at least for my car. But I don't focus on like the 2 most recent albums. Definitely not.
Okay.
Like I listen to such a wide variety of music.
Yeah,
too.
that's why I was asking, because like I don't know, every time I come up into your room, there's different shit playing every time, it feels like.
But like,
You listen to some weird shit sometimes.
I listen to some very bizarre music.
I would say bizarre. That's actually a really good word for it. Because it's not like cringy. It's not like super like, I don't know, like weird. It's just like it's just a bizarre.
It's bizarre music.
Yeah.
Like I have this one guy. I listened to this one podcast with a guy, and he knows a guy that's a rapper, and the two of them one's a DJ and the other guy's a rapper, and they kind of like bounce ideas, like they're good friends, and they're like they made like this alter ego for the rapper, and so they have like 3 concept albums, and I really like them, and it's just like the concept is that it's just this guy from like Chicago, and he's just like they're either talking about him or like it's just this alter ego, and it's really weird music. Like it's not all that great, but it's funny to me, and like I like the way he talks. I think a lot of it for me is like the tone that I can hear in the voice, and like the sounds of that. Like the lyrics, it's interesting to hear what they're saying, but I hear more in how they're saying it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Like
so you hear about vocals a lot, but not necessarily what they're saying.
Yeah, and like it's a lot more of the sounds themselves. So this one song that I listened to, it's by a band called Mathien. The song is called "I Think I'm Gonna Kill Myself," and it's a 1.5-minute song. It's the shortest song on the album, but it is their best song because you can hear the passion in this guy's voice about he loves this girl so much, and like I think the lyric is "I loved you from the first time I saw you till the last time you saw me turn around," and like just the way he says, like you can hear him, on the verge of tears.
Yeah,
wow. Like and just the passion, like and it's in a recording studio, but like just the raw passion in it is just beautiful to me.
Yeah,
and it's a 1.5-minute song, and like it's honestly their best song.
That's all you need sometimes.
And then their other song on their newest album is it's 12 rules or something. Or it's just like 12 life tips. And it's just like tip 1, you bought pots at Dollar General and they were cheap. Go return them because you knew they were cheap. And like it just like it compliments one of your something that your friend made. And it's just like 12 like basic rules. And it's just like it's a weird song, but it just there's like a overtone voice, and it's just rule 1. Tell your friend, like, it is, I don't know, it is really funny. It's funny. So yeah, I'd say I listen to bizarre music.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I don't, like, actively look for that type of music. But when I hear you play it, like, more than likely, like, I'll dig it. If it's not country, if it's, like, not, like, bad rap.
Which I don't listen to anyway.
I, like, usually will dig it. Like, I'll enjoy it. But it's not, like, again, it goes back to, like, the lyrics and, like, the meaning to me. But, like, I've been, like, expanding a bit. And, like, there's other, like, when I hear your music or, like, the party music, like, I enjoy it. I do. But I wouldn't even know where to start to find it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, like, listen to it, I feel like, in my free time.
Yeah,
I'd say the best way to describe, or a decent way to describe the music I listen to and like the range that I listen to, is for the most part, it's not going to be a whole lot of people's favorite. Like, to me, it's like it's some of my favorite music, but a lot of people, it's not their favorite, and like whatever, but it's tolerable.
Yeah,
or like enough. Everyone is willing to enjoy the music I listen to.
Like
I think is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's like elevator
It's
music.
like fair to everyone.
Yeah,
it's very people are content listening to it. They're not gonna complain. They're not gonna say it's the best. But they're like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it's like
you definitely can't say that about my music.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Like I can totally see where you're saying, like where you come from.
Like not everyone's
because like
gonna like fucking be like, oh yeah, this is cool. What is this? And like I get that, whatever. But people can still like nod their head to and be like, oh, this is kind of neat, and then like move on, and it's fine.
No, I'm with Gabe. Whenever I'm in your room playing music, it's like, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
But I don't ever like search it out. But I'm like, when I listen to it, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy
I
listening
enjoy
to
this. Yeah, there's been times where like people have walked into my room or like into work, and I'm like listening to music that's like it's got some screaming in it, or like it's got like some very specific like some of the bands I listen to are fucking weird. Like some of them like dress up as fucking like a clown. or whatever.
I don't like that one.
Yeah.
bit.
Okay,
I'm not saying that.
stage presence wise, they're fucking weird. Musically, they're brilliant.
Okay, do you think that they
But-
dress up like clowns when they're in the recording studio?
I hope so.
Do you think that
I hope
like
so.
pumps up like their mind? They're like, dude, I literally cannot sing if I'm not dressed like a clown.
Well, there's the band Ghost, and they're like Satanists. I'm doing air quotes.
Yeah.
And they like
You
dress up
told
as
me
like
about
popes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people are like, it's just weird, but like I really enjoy it. But when like a random stranger comes in, and they hear that, I just like I feel bad. It's like, oh, it's good, I promise, but you're not gonna like this. Like,
Well, like with stage presence, there's a classic rock band that I listen to called Jethro Tull.
Oh, I know Jethro Tull.
Yeah, they're a great band, but when they would perform live,
There's like a jazz flute in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the singer has he plays a flute and he dresses up like a court jester and he dances around across the stage. Like you can see videos of Jethro Tull and he's just playing his flute and like it's like rock music. Like
yeah,
their song, I think Locomotive Breath is one of my favorite songs because it's just like really heavy guitar, you know, like
Yeah.
really good like pump up music. But then he's got a flute solo in it. But you know what? It's the most rockin' flute solo I think I've ever heard.
I don't think I've ever heard someone say that sentence before.
But you know what? You listen to the song and you'll agree.
what's the song in Baby Driver that's got the yodeling?
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, you love that
by
song.
Focus. And I love this
It's
song.
a great song.
It
It's
goes-
so weird.
Intense guitar solo to yodeling to back to intense guitar solo and it repeats like 4 times. And it's a beautiful song.
That's awesome.
And it's one of my dad's favorites.
Dayton, what's your musical journey been like? Where you at right now?
Oh boy. All right. So, first of all, let's just jump in a time machine.
Jeez.
Whoa!
Back
Let's
to
go way
5th
back.
grade.
I've seen your SoundCloud.
back to 5th grade. Okay. So, before 5th grade, never listened to music. It just didn't appeal to me. I didn't understand why we listened to it. And then, my wonderful parents got me Guitar Hero 3.
Oh yeah,
for
baby.
PlayStation 2.
Let's go.
Oh, buddy.
And then, that's where like I was like, oh, this is like fun. Like music's like fun. Like it's
Yeah, it's
pretty
cool.
upbeat. So then I basically what I did is me being like a 6th grader at the time or whatever. Like once I got into it, I just pirated all the music I could find from Guitar Hero 3, and I just listened to only Guitar Hero 3 music.
You guys have MP3
That's awesome,
players?
actually.
Yeah, dude, I had this
did.
really
Oh,
shitty one.
I had the
that was,
little
like,
shitty one
half
with
a
LCD
gig.
screen. It
Yeah.
was like 5 gigs. Oh, dude, can you
Mine
imagine
wasn't
bringing
5
that?
gigs, mine was half a gig.
Can you? Oh, really?
It could fit like 100 songs on it.
Can you imagine bringing that to 2018? You're just listening on MP3.
Dude, I had a little like Jonas Brothers Disney
Oh,
one.
that was worse.
So bad, dude.
You win.
So bad.
You win.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I had my sister's old iPod Nano.
Oh,
And it had her name engraved in the back because we like got it for her birthday and she like got an iPhone or something or like
Yeah.
she upgraded and she didn't
Yeah.
need it and I was like, I'll take it. Like free iPod, hell yeah.
Was it the Nano or the Shuffle?
It was the Nano.
Oh, okay.
But it,
I
it
had
was
a shuffle too.
Oh, did you?
I used both at the same time, so I had more storage.
it was like the original Nano. So like it was like
Yeah, it's just like buttons. Like,
yeah, it was like it had
screen.
the scroll wheel.
Yeah.
Did it have a
Yes.
display? I feel like
Yeah,
the
it
first
had
one-
a-
I put
Oh,
Nano
it did?
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
display.
Yeah,
had a
they
Nano.
had a display and like I just remember that scroll wheel that they
That was
used to.
that was a pretty neat scroll.
Oh, I love that.
That was like revolutionary at
I
the
remember
time.
getting one for my birthday and just scroll. There was like little game that you could like block with the blocks.
Yeah, like Brick
That game
Breaker
was-
or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was. That game was
Yeah.
fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to completely off track here.
No, I mean that was a good tangent. But yeah, so then after I did that for a little while, then I remember this very vividly. I listened to I think it was called Sophie's Ladder by Deadmau5. This was on a bus ride to Michigan's Adventure at the end of I think 7th or 8th grade.
Oh, it took you that long.
And I remember the guy, he was just, kind of like a friend of mine in high school, and he's like, hey, listen to this song, dude. It'll, like, it's, like, really weird. Like, it's pretty good.
It make you feel tingly.
And I listened to it, I was like, yeah, like, it's alright. Like,
It's a song.
it's not like my Guitar Hero 3 music, but it's alright.
Serviceable.
And then, from there, like even back to like I don't know, probably senior year of high school, I don't remember like what music I listened to.
That's so weird.
I don't remember like at all. And then but once I got into college, well actually senior year of high school, I'm remembering this. I used to use SoundCloud a lot. I used to be really into like the underground like remixes that like people that have like only like 1,000 people have listened to these remixes, and I was like, dude, this is really good. And I would listen to it, and like I've gone back on those remixes. They're pretty bad. Like,
well, you went to Electric Forest in high school, so you must have had some.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, so you must have had some like drive for that kind of music.
Yeah.
Because that's like that festival. That brings like a certain kind of music, like a lot of electronic, isn't it?
It's a lot of electronic music, a lot of like stereotypical EDM, but they also have like bluegrass, and they also have some like what's it called? It's not psycho rock. It's what? Psychedelic rock. That's what it is.
Yeah, that shit's
like,
weird.
So like String Cheese Incident, like they're probably like the biggest psychedelic rock band.
Is it like really spacey or like what is that?
It's like
the original ones are Pink Floyd. That's like the original psychedelic rock.
But some of the new shit is like
now.
you can't even understand what they're saying. It's like spacey.
A lot of the times
and, like,
it's not. They don't really have lyrics.
Right. It's really
all
like
instrumental.
Yeah.
Okay, that's curious.
But yeah, so then since high school, since I went to Electric Forest a few times, my music has definitely changed because I used to listen to a lot of like the stereotypical like EDM stuff or like just like really cringy music that takes no skill to make. But after talking to Alan, who's one of our housemates, for like a while, like in the dorms, like he would share his music with me, I'd share my music with me because we have very similar music tastes now. And I don't know, I feel like nowadays I listen to more of just like music that has really weird samples in it.
Bizarre music.
So like
different bizarre.
For the people that don't know what like samples are in music, it's basically just a sound bite of
something else.
Something else, and then you just like use that and put it into your music and then like build around it. And some of my favorite songs have like horses neighing in them. Like
weird
sounds of like springs and stuff like that. It's just one of them has a ketchup squirting out of a bottle.
Dude, I love sampling too, especially from movies.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite songs, you guys know Bastille, right? Like
yeah.
They have an old song in their mixtape where they do a cover of No Scrubs by TLC, but they put in sound bites from the movie Psycho.
Oh, okay.
By Alfred Hitchcock, so it gives like a different feel.
That's
it definitely does.
It is one of my favorite songs. It's such a cool like reimagining of that song and like using that movie to like recontextualize it. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and especially like if you use because I've listened to songs where they like their intro they've sampled part of like an old president's speech or something like that.
Oh,
and then
cool.
they like down pitch it so then it sounds like deeper and then it's. I mean, I enjoy it because I think it's like kind of weird and like I don't know, but I know like a lot of people are just like, dude, why did they?
What
just
the
put,
fuck
like,
are you listening
like,
to?
Why did they just put like half a dude's speech as their intro?
I think that shit's awesome.
Why is there ketchup in this song?
Yeah, but I mean, I enjoy that stuff. But as for how I consume my music, I am very different than Joseph and Gabe, in the sense that I will find new music and then I'll just save it to my Spotify and then I'll just play down my Spotify saved list, and then I basically listen to it in like all facets of my life, when I'm driving, when I'm doing homework, when I'm doing whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. And then basically I associate those songs with like that period of like time that I'm in.
That's
so
fucking weird.
So then when I go back into like my saved songs, I can like pinpoint when I listen to that song, like what point of my life I listened to that song.
Wow, interesting.
I kind of have done that too. I mean, with albums, because like I can say definitely freshman year, like I listened to a lot of like stereotypical like rap, like Eminem and like Childish Gambino. Like I listened like freshman, sophomore year, and I've since like kind of gotten away from that. But even like last year, I can point to like exactly which album, like the dozen albums or whatever that I listened to a lot of during that time.
Do you guys?
I can kind of see that as well.
Do you guys feel like your music tastes have like evolved in like a better way?
Oh,
like,
I was gonna get there.
I was
big
just
time.
thinking like, and when you guys were talking about what the shit you listened to earlier on, like in 5th and 6th grade, have you guys heard of Hollywood Undead?
Oh yeah,
They suck, dude. They're bad. But like as a kid, I was like, oh, he said fuck. This is the best thing ever. Like I don't. But like now looking back, like I mean, there's still a lot of songs like nostalgia is huge, plays a huge weight in it. But like I just feel like from that garbage that I listened to, the stuff I listen to now, it's evolved in like a way that I enjoy it more now, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think that yes, my music tastes have changed, but I don't think that I enjoy the music that I'm listening to now any more than I enjoyed it back in the day.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I'm not really one to say that like music is objectively bad because I don't believe in that. I don't think that any music is objectively bad because there's going to be people out there who enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would assume that the people out there making it enjoy it as well.
That's
would
debatable.
hope so.
That's debatable depending if it's pop shit, dude.
Yeah.
I guess I would say let me rephrase that then. Anything from like 13 and under, or like from let's say like 9th grade and under, I don't listen to very much anymore. Like maybe a song here or there. Like
what, you don't like Replay by Iaz?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, sometimes you get nostalgia for that kind of stuff, though.
Yeah,
And
nostalgia
you're,
is huge. Like, there's some I call them classes where they're like early 2000 stuff that my dad listened to that like I immediately associate with like his shitty computer, like sitting in his like duplex.
Well, I mean, we had our 90s party last year, and that was awesome. Like,
That was
hearing
so
all those
fun.
old songs.
90s
like,
and 2000s.
Yeah.
2000
But it's just like...
More 2000s
So much-
than 90s.
It was,
Let's
really.
be real.
We were all born in the late 90s, so like, we grew up in the 2000s.
Yeah.
But it's so nostalgic.
That music was awesome.
It kind of takes you back and you feel good, right? Because you're remembering kind of how you used to be. But yeah, so like Dayton, how would you describe like what genres you listen to now?
Definitely heavily towards electronic. But I also
like
really...
dubstep.
Do I really need to clarify?
I think honestly, do it because some people
Some people don't.
understand
Okay.
what electronic music is.
Okay,
now.
so for the listeners out there, electronic music all falls under the category of EDM, which is electronic dance music. And I'm sure that when you think of EDM, you think of artists like Skrillex and like people like that make the really heavy music. The
ones that sound like Transformers.
Yeah, that is honestly like a pretty good explanation of what they
I've
are.
never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
usually it's summed up as Transformers having sex, but
Oh, Jesus.
same difference. And I would definitely say that I don't listen to any of I don't listen to Skrillex because I say that so much as a meme. But Skrillex, I don't listen to hardly any of him anymore. But I definitely do listen to songs that would be classified as like bro step. Because
step.
Yeah, that's like the stuff that like Alan and I like put on where it's just like super heavy.
I love dancing to that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's super good dance music.
But it's not like I'm not just like, oh dude, this song is so good. Like dude, like let's just dance.
It's very like dance and a tad bit memey.
Yeah.
There's a little.
Yeah. But yeah, and then instrumental, I like a lot. Oh, I totally forgot to keep on going on about electronic music. But basically, electronic music is anything that can be, it's just made with a computer, right?
Yeah,
right.
So a lot of my favorite artists sample like drums and like guitars and stuff like that, and like they just make their music on the computer. Or what they'll do is like they have like a synthesizer, which it's pretty much just a keyboard. And then they play on that, and it records onto their computer, and then they can like
mix it all together.
Mix it all on their computer, and that I really like that because I find the piano to be probably one of the most like beautiful instruments out there. Because just depending on how hard you press down the keys and your cadence with like playing, it can convey a lot of emotions that I haven't experienced with other instruments.
Yeah.
Piano can also be super haunting.
Yeah.
If you do it right, like can make it pretty spooky.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's got a wide range. I
It
guess.
definitely
It's really
does.
like I feel like piano usage has really died down in like the modern era.
Well, it's because it's so much easier to pick up like a guitar and play it because
Because you don't need to lug around a 1-ton.
But I mean,
box.
but keyboards are super light and super portable,
Yeah.
you know, and you can create the same kinds of sounds. It's not the same
But
exact thing, but
a
like,
keyboard is very different from a piano because, like, you can tell different piano players, like, they can play the same exact song, like, same tempo and, like, same exact song, but it'll sound very different just on the way they press the keys
Right.
and, like, the intensity that they hit 'em.
Yeah,
Because there's a famous jazz musician, and I wish I could remember his name, but he was constantly like commented on or whatever that he played the piano wrong because he kept his fingers like straight, if that makes sense, like flayed out, and would smack the keys, and that was like his like calling card signature move, like how he played the piano, and it sounds incredibly different than like anyone else who's been classically trained in the piano and like how you're actually supposed to play it.
I'm sure it sounded like a lot more short because like if you think about it, like if you're just slapping it, it's gonna be a very short note.
Yeah,
Right.
but I wish I could remember his
You
name.
have a phone, dude. Google it.
I do,
We'll come
but-
back to you.
Yeah, whatever.
Random
It's
jazz
not-
guy who types flat.
But yeah, it's not worth it to know his name. But yeah,
Yeah.
It's interesting how like I guess you can get that with the guitar and like other instruments as well. But a piano is very
I'd say
Different
most
in that
instruments have quite a big range. It's just the piano. I feel like especially
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
I think it has.
I feel like you listen to a lot of other stuff too. Like I remember like this other day we were driving the car, this like My Sharona. Like you listen to some old stuff sometimes too, you know.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of oldies.
What's the song that we've been listening to that goes chicka chicka? What's the name?
Oh,
of it?
yeah.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow.
From
Dun
Ferris-
dun.
Oh yeah, the guy's
Ferris
name was
Bueller's Day Off.
Thelonious Monk.
Oh,
What was his
Thelonious
name?
Monk. What a dude.
Dude, he's a very I don't know he's an incredibly famous pianist.
That's how you knew his name.
Yeah.
'Cause he was incredibly famous.
Yeah, the Thelonious Monk.
Sorry,
this
we
is-
keep
Dude,
sidetracking.
jazz music? So I took a class my freshman year in college called The History of Jazz, and I was thoroughly impressed by it. Because, like, jazz is something, it's like, oh yeah, cool jazz. Like, you hear it in, like, elevators and, like, waiting rooms. There is so much history and how it came from, like, the New Orleans, like, brass bands and...
I've taken a class on it too, but in high school, so
Y-
less
yeah.
in depth. But
But like it was interesting how it went from like, you know, the brass bands to like it literally moved up the Mississippi River up to like Chicago and New York, and it branched off into like blues, and then electric jazz became rock and roll, and like just how it morphed and
it's
like
pretty fascinating.
Have you seen
and like
have you
jazz used to be the pop music, like
Yeah.
and like that, like to me, like pop music is like the Taylor Swift, the you know whatever you think of like classic pop music, but like to think of jazz music as like the popular music of the time, just I don't know, that to me that blew my mind.
A lot
Have
of
you seen La La Land?
I have not. I've
Okay,
heard it was
'cause there's-
pretty garbage.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I mean, I heard it was Oscar bait.
if you don't like musicals, you probably won't like it very much. But it's kind of a love letter to jazz in some respects. You might like some of those parts of it. But
Yeah.
It's interesting that a lot of genres like build off like weird shit, and like music's still evolving.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Rock music, like the shit that I listen to now, like 10 years ago, it just didn't exist. Like they try new things, and some of it, like, you know, they're just dividing into smaller and smaller categories. I feel like it's way more niche than it used to be.
That is all electronic music.
Oh, I believe.
I could probably sit here for like 10 to 20 minutes and just say and not even explain
Just
what
the
different like
genres.
subgenres are. And
There's so many.
It is like headache inducing because especially like if you go on like forums and people like share songs or whatever, then they're like, oh, this falls into this category, and then you have like these other like elitists that are like, are you kidding me? Like this obviously is in this category, and it's just like there's no way to categorize them objectively anymore.
Right.
Because it's like, yes, this song has elements of this song has elements of that, and I'm sure it's the same with all the other genres as well. But that's just the one that I'm most familiar with.
Well, it's funny because like I was trying to describe churches to you, as a band, but I'm really bad at like describing genres.
I would say it's electro pop.
I was saying like they're like I don't know like synth pop or something like
synth pop is close, but not quite there. And it's something that I don't know how to explain. It's just because I've listened to it enough of it.
You know, I think that's really interesting because like the subgenres. Could you imagine? It's all because of like the internet and like you can listen to exactly to what you want to. Like when classic like hair bands came out, like internet wasn't like a thing. So like when you heard it, you're like, okay, I like this. And there was no, if you heard like a niche band, there's no way for that band to get big because they didn't have an audience to reach out to. But now that like there's the internet, like they can appeal to those niche groups and they're enough to sustain them, which I think is really interesting. And it works for everybody. Gets to listen to exactly what they like. Like we are in a great time for music.
Oh yeah,
and there's so much discovery tools too.
Music and like everything, like I like even outside of music, like it's great to find whatever medium you want, you know, like media you want to consume. Yeah.
So my musical journey has been very interesting, I think, looking back on it. So I grew up in a very Christian household, so I listened to basically just Christian like pop for like the majority up until like middle school. And I was like, that was all I ever heard. So I'm like, yeah, this is fine. Like, this is good. You know, it's positive.
It's music.
It's music. Like, it's I liked music a lot at the time. I remember I liked all those bands, but I got to a point where I eventually kind of realized, like we were talking about earlier, like all these songs are saying the exact same thing, you know, and they're always positive and uplifting. But like sometimes, like you guys heard me complain about, you know, the people who are always happy all the time. It's like, where's like the darkness? Like, where are people like? These people are never struggling in these songs. They're like, they're like, oh, I was struggling, but then you know, I got God. And it's like, I get that, but it's like there's more emotions than what I'm just hearing in these songs. And I eventually, you know, started using Pandora, and you know,
I forgot about Pandora.
Pandora was a huge step for me because then I started reaching out a little bit and I found some other bands. And at the time, it was the mainstream 2000 shit, Coldplay, One Republic.
Chevelle.
But that's all Pandora would put out.
Yeah.
You know, Pandora only put out like the big names. Like that's what nice thing about Spotify is you can dig deep.
Yeah. But like I eventually like my genres kind of kept expanding. I mean, I started super mainstream shit, you know, but then I kind of went out. But I kind of looking back, I feel like I missed out on a lot of pop music back then because everybody at school's like super into like Lady Gaga or like Katy Perry. And I like just didn't listen.
You miss Poker
I
Face.
just missed that shit, which is probably for the best. But people are like, oh, have you heard this song? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know, dude. I like that music still. Like, there's nothing that you can say that will make me dislike that music. Sometimes I just want to listen to some, you know, Panic at the Disco, Lady Gaga, old Katy Perry.
Black Eyed
Peas.
Lady
Black
Gaga is incredibly talented musically. Like I feel like people don't give Lady Gaga enough credit.
Oh yeah, she's super talented
in my opinion.
So anyways, so you know, Pandora helped me like reach out, and I eventually found some other artists that I enjoyed. That's when I started listening to Paramore for the first time, you know. And I
Avril Lavigne.
Wait. what was the exact day? Because that must have been a huge day.
I fucking love Paramore, dude.
I know, we went to a concert.
We went to a concert this summer, and I love all 5 of their albums. I listened like every single song. I love Paramore, but I didn't like realize it back then. I just heard, I'm like, this is good. And what I ended up doing, how I discovered music was I would listen to the radio, and it's like, you know, the top shit, and you hear songs like Ed Sheeran's new song or like, you know, Paramore's new song, and I hear it, and like, that's a good song, and I'll think, I wonder what else that artist has done. And I'll go to that artist and I'll listen to all of their shit, like their albums, and I'm like, wow, this shit's really good. So when I think of my music, I'm very artist based, not necessarily genre based. Like I'm very diverse in the genres I listen to, and I've discovered through Pandora and eventually on Spotify, kind of all these artists and talking to my friends and stuff and just finding stuff that I enjoy. And I feel like I have a mix of all 3 of you and why I listen to things I do. Like Gabe, like I love concept albums.
They're
like
great.
They're the most interesting thing to me, and that's why like especially like my favorite ones like Logic's albums are so powerful because he writes them like a movie and even has scenes in between songs of characters doing dialogue. Like it's so clever and amazing. Like I just love it so much. Or like my favorite albums is Everything by Lido, which is a concept album by him breaking up with his girlfriend, which is Halsey. And every song is like the next emotion he feels if you listen to it, or you like go through that entire process.
Stage 1 denial.
And then of course, probably the biggest album for me, like recently, well, it was in high school, was John Bellion's The Human Condition.
That was a good album.
Good God.
Hi, Jake.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jake
is
he loves it.
He got the VIP pass before he got big. And
Yeah, I mean, I have like the signed poster and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I love it for so many reasons. One of the reasons, like, for every single song, he had an artist like make a picture for each one.
That is really cool.
And they're all like different kind of frames, and it's like, you know, the same characters, but they're all different situations.
Right.
You know, and every song is just about a theme about the human condition and something that we deal with, and it's just such a beautiful album. His new album comes out next Friday. Super pumped.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He released 3 singles, or yeah, third single comes out tomorrow, and then
well, I'm gonna
new album next week, November
listening
7th.
to that.
Get hyped. But yeah, John Bellion was just kind of opened my mind, like, wow, this is fucking music, man. And
Yeah.
like Joseph, what you're saying, like, the passion is what gets me going with these artists. Like, I think we all listen to all like the angsty, like, pop punk shit.
Yeah.
But I love it because, like, when they're like singing, you can tell like they're just going for it. Like, they're really emotional, and like I still love All Time Low, the old band. But I listen to their old albums all the time. So just that pop punk like really gets me in the mood sometimes. But
There's a new song. This is an advertisement. It's that good. The song Ghost by Bad Flower. It is it's like new age emo, but not like lyrically, but not really. But it's like this like song about him like trying to kill himself and how he like regrets it halfway through. Holy shit. It is like number 2 in rock right now. Fantastic song. We're gonna listen to it at the end of this. It's that good. I can't. So good. Anyways,
yeah,
sorry.
But I'm like you. Like, I have my rotation of like 3 or 4 albums at a time as they come out.
Yeah.
Like, right now, it's like Trench by 21 Pilots.
Trench is still on my list.
We got Young Sinatra 4 from Logic, and like Church's last album. I can't think of the name right now.
It's the one with the blue and pink album art.
Love Is Dead. Like, those are my rotation right now. And usually what happens is I have my rotation, and then when new albums come out, they like push ones out.
Yeah.
But then I have I listen to albums, but I have my master playlist where the best songs from the albums go into that playlist, and I shuffle that. So like my routine is when I'm in the shower, I listen to my shuffle playlist. If I'm doing homework, my shuffle playlist. But if I'm listening to music specifically, then I just go albums, or if I'm in the mood for a specific person.
I got a bone to pick with you though about John
Jesus.
Bellion.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. I can agree with you that John Bellion is very talented.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say that I enjoy some of his songs.
Oh gosh.
But do you remember what I told you last weekend after I got home from the bars?
Okay.
And you put on John Bellion.
I can't remember. I was drunk.
Well, Alan and I were in here, and you put on John Bellion, and I was like, all John Bellion's music sounds the same. And you know what? From what I've heard, I agree with that. I agree with myself.
Your drunk self.
With my drunk self. Because
That's rare.
this is what irritates me about, you know, all these people that all these artists, you know, that are big, and I think they definitely are playing to their audience, right? They're playing to their audience because a lot of their audience, you know, people around our age, you know,
Yeah.
we grow up and we're like, holy shit, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, am I supposed to like go to college? Am I supposed to find a job? And it's just like this very confusing time.
It's very relatable
Right?
music.
Exactly, and that's what I'm getting at. These artists are producing music where
It hooks you in an emotional way.
yeah, and it's just like they're like, let me reach out to you and like feel what I feel because you're going through the same things as I am, and that's what I'm talking about.
Isn't that the point of music? Is though to some extent?
And I disagree. I disagree with the point. That's the point of music.
Oh, one of the point. Like, I think connecting emotionally with an artist is one of my favorite things in a song.
Really?
But like with John Bellion, I don't know. I still think that a lot of his music sounds the same because when you hear that,
When you say it sounds like the music or like the message?
like the message,
Okay.
and I don't know. I can't really enjoy that because I don't know. It sounds like all of the same beats are kind of like very similar, and I value creative.
The crazy, unique horse neighing.
Yeah, I mean
Well, I mean,
to
obviously
the
what we're
extreme,
saying,
the
yeah.
extreme of that, yeah. But I value music where like the artist puts time to make their sound distinct and their beats distinct from one another. And I think that most pop music, I would classify John Bellion still as pop.
I fucking hate pop music, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't
know
said
you
that
do.
yet.
But I would say that it all follows the same template.
Yeah.
I'm gonna heavily disagree with you, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should recommend 3 of our artists at the end of this section.
Okay.
I think that'd be interesting.
I
mean-
I gotta heavily disagree with you. I know.
Alright.
Firstly, I don't know how much of John Bellion you listen to. I don't know if you just listen to like the singles or whatever.
I don't know what I've listened to either. I never have listened to them on my own.
Okay.
I've only listened to whatever other people have played for
All
me.
right, that's fair enough. And yeah, like the big singles, I would say like All Time Low was the big one last year that most people have heard. Yeah, they kind of sound the same.
What's
But-
the one with like X? It has the word or the letter X.
The
in it.
word X.
Like
X gonna give it to you?
no.
X,
Is
like,
it a
in the-
Church's
in the
song?
song?
Yeah.
Wait, or a John Bellion song.
John Bellion song.
With X.
It's gonna kill me.
I'm
it's
on
been
Spotify.
remixed a lot.
John.
You sure it's not All Time Low? Because if it's not All Time Low, I don't know what it would be. Or like, whatever.
It very well might
Anyway.
be all time low.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna keep talking.
Yeah.
But like, see, I think like his production is the best part of it, because so if you listen to the Human Condition, like front to back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every song has. They're all relating to the same message of like the human condition.
It's a
I guess, and
concept.
you know, that's the concept, right?
Yeah.
Every song tackles a different issue, and I think every song hits a different tone. Like there's one called "The Good in Me," and if you like, that's why I love it so much. 'Cause you relate to like the album art, right? For that song art is like him in the woods with somebody hunting him, right? And you can like he samples a crow in the song, like you can really get like kind of feel that.
Yeah.
And then there's another song called "He's the Same," which is like him. It's more of a hip hop track, and it's kind of him reflecting on like who he is now as opposed to he used to be. And I think like the production is fantastic, and he does some really interesting things. Not with sampling necessarily, but using really unique sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Not the same way as Odessa, but I think similar to Odessa. You know, Odessa is so interesting in the EDM space because they use very weird instruments, like kind of African drums or like. You know what I'm saying?
If you can find an artist out there that plays the didgeridoo, I know of one. They're pretty
I
OG.
know one.
Well, that's why I love Odessa so much. I mean, they're pretty mainstream EDM, like everybody pretty much knows who Odessa is. But I think they're so clever with their use of instruments and kind of the sounds they make. And I think John Bellion's in a similar vein as that, kind of the way his production kind of works.
Do you like AJR by chance?
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, I think AJR, they're more of a
They're
millennial feeling, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, but I still appreciate it. You know, I think more, their third songs are more samey overall.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, as far as, like, the message-wise, like, they
Yeah.
have a very similar vein of John Bellion, where it's, like,
Yeah.
having a message in every...
Yeah. But, I mean, back to the whole message thing, like, I really love connecting with the message. Like, something like Logic, who I just talked about, but, like, on his album, Everybody, it's a lot about, you know, racial indifferences, right? I'm obviously never had to deal with that because I'm a white male, so I've never had to deal with that stuff, but I understand where he came from, and I understand his passion, and I feel for him, you know? Even though I've never had the experiences myself, you know, I can appreciate that. But also, he has a song called Anxiety, where he talks about his struggle with anxiety, and I have that also.
Yeah.
And so that's even a deeper level of connection, like, oh wow, you actually understand, and you're talking about this in the way I'm actually feeling about it, you know?
Right.
So people like, you know, like AGR, who's kind of our age, that kind of helps with that sort of stuff, or John Bellion. But then there's other artists where I just love how they sound. Like, one of my favorite rock bands is Catfish and the Bottlemen. And they're kind of like what's the...
Can't say I've heard of them.
I know, they sound like...
How big
who's
are
the people... The Killers. They're like... The Killers, they're like British rock band, they're just like younger. But every single one of their songs
Struts.
sounds exactly the same.
Is it One Direction V2?
No, it's more British. More British and more rock. So, like,
More
just, like,
British.
Literally,
I
just
was
think,
just- I
yeah.
was just messing
The
with
British
that.
direction.
just think the Killers, essentially.
Okay.
If the Killers came out, like, you know, a couple years ago. Every single other song sounds exactly the same. I don't care at all. I just love what their sound is. And sometimes I'm just in the mood for that, the British rock, and I just need it. And the lyrics are fine or whatever, but I just love the sound. And I'm usually a lyrics guy, but sometimes, like, that's just what I need. Or, like, even, like, churches, right? Like, I really like their sound. So I would say, like, I'm overall, like, a lyrics guy, and I'm an album guy for sure, but sometimes it's just, like, I just, like, love how this band sounds. Like, Eden. I love Eden. I never really connect with lyrics very much, but I love his voice, like you're saying, like, the vocals. I love the way he sings, and I love what he does. Because his songs always sound so sad. But
Yeah.
I never...
A lot of them.
But I never feel sad listening to him. I just, like, I really appreciate how it sounds, you know? Because I never listen to music to feel a certain emotion. I usually listen to it as a distraction.
Right.
Or to appreciate art, like you were saying, Gabe. But
I know. I feel like there's a way in which music, like, you know, you were saying that they all sound like sometimes this band sounds all the same. I find that very interesting because I don't know how it is in your guys' genres, but I like follow the rock community a lot, like on Reddit and stuff. And a big tendency for rock bands is to get less heavy because it appeals to a bigger audience and like that gets them more money, which like
Right, they see the money side.
that happens. But there's people who complain that the music all sounds the same and they try something new and then they complain that it sounds new.
yeah.
Do you guys? I'm sure that's like a universal thing.
I mean,
But it's
I
just-
can definitely understand it because people will never be happy.
Right.
They're always
but
gonna be
it's
like,
just
why
like
don't you play it like I want you to play it?
Like there are some albums where they fucking nail it. Like this is their peak for me. Like this is the best they'll ever sound.
Yep.
In my mind. And then they'll come out with another album like they still sound good. Like it's a new direction and I appreciate that they tried something new. But like because if they didn't try something new, that last album wouldn't be as great as they wanted.
That was my biggest complaint with Eminem's new album. Is musically, it sounded identical to any one of his other albums. Like, yeah, the lyrics were like new and like he wrote the new songs and whatever, but like musically, it didn't sound like it had been however many years since his last album. Like, I don't follow him enough to know. I don't remember when his last album before that came out. But like I listened to a lot of like, you know, Recovery and the Marshall Mathers albums 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it just sounded the same.
I mean, what's different with Eminem though is he had Bad Meets Evil, where that was him and some other rapper, and that sounds a lot different than what he normally sounds like, and that came out around like 2015.
Okay.
I think
there was a space where he did create different types of music, but just under like a different pseudonym, different alias.
I don't know. I feel like there's a fine line because bands that get bigger or like have a following are typically big because they're unique, but you also need to expand upon it.
Yeah,
It's a really like they have to do a lot of work, a lot of like musical creation because they have to have a unique sound, but they also have to differ every album in a way. At least in my mind.
What you find, at least in like the electronic community, is that the artists they'll have like their big alias, right? And they'll keep on putting out music that's very similar to that. Then they'll create another alias, and then it's the same exact person creating but different music. And then sometimes you'll see where like their top alias is still like doing really well, and their bottom alias or like their second alias is like starting to like rise. And it's really weird because a famous example of that is Porter Robinson. Who I'm sure that you've heard.
Wait, he has aliases?
Yeah. So one of his aliases are alii, maybe.
I think it's
aliases.
Yeah. Okay. Is Virtual Self, and if you ever listen to any Virtual Self, it is some like weird synthy music, and it just sounds so futuristic, and like the BPM is like it's probably. Like 250 or something like that.
Jesus Christ!
It is just so fast paced. It's just different music, and you never would have expected that from him.
Yeah.
And he's toured under Virtual Self.
That's so
Which
interesting.
is even funnier, because it's like this is Porter Robinson, but he's touring as Virtual Self.
Yeah, but it's different music.
Different music.
I kind of like that, honestly.
I'm really glad bands do that, or like artists, because Tremonti his last name is the band, but the bigger bands he was in Creed, which like has what's the one song that everyone Take Me Higher.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard that fucking song.
Yeah.
Like he was the lead guitarist in that. He did Alter Bridge. He's still in Alter Bridge, which is also a really big band, and especially in Europe. And then like he made this solo project. I like it way more because it is super fucking heavy. But you can understand the lyrics and they actually mean something.
Yeah.
That's why he's like easily my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they like find the fucking time. I don't know how they do, but they find the time to do it.
They're busy and they're passionate about it, so.
Alright, let's all recommend 3 albums.
Albums?
3 albums.
Dude.
Alright, let me get my Spotify. You
Or-
go first.
Or artists. I mean, 3 things. I don't know, because I don't know if you're much of an album, guys. But
I am not, because it's very common for electronic artists to just release like EPs or something.
Oh, yeah. So just everyone recommend 3 things.
I've already got 3.
Alright, Gabe, you go first.
Alright, we're going for albums. First one. Okay, first, this is hard rock. There's no like screaming in any of these 3 albums. So just hard rock.
Well, tell them what to listen for in these albums.
Yeah, so A Dying Machine, fantastic. That's by Tremonti. That one is like a story of like basically iRobot, like starting to become consciousness and like realize like the big story is like they love each other. Like a robot loves a human so much and like the humans stop loving them. Really great story if you listen for it. Second one, Prequelle from Ghost. They consider themselves horror rock, I guess. So it's more. It makes sense if you listen to it, like understanding the word horror in it. It's a lot more spooky, I guess. That's the best way to put it. But it also has a lot of classic rock elements. It's really good, and the whole theme there is like it's all about the Black Plague, which is super interesting because like they did their research on it, and like if you dig into it, it's great.
Is that one with rats in it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, but they also have a song that's like about people partying during the Black Plague because people did that because they were gonna die.
Yeah.
So they literally partied to death because like fuck, I'm gonna get Black Plague. It's very regardless, super interesting. Last one, The Stories We Tell Ourselves by Nothing More. Also fantastic artist. All of his shit is good, or their shit. That one is the one that I was telling you about where like. It's got a lot of like political messages in it, but it also has like the stories he tells himself to make himself like feel okay.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Those are all if you guys are looking for hard rock. Top 3 right now.
Are you ready, Joseph? You want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. So I would say if you want to hear a good blue, like what I think of blues, like neo blues, kind of new blues, I would say. Shit, I just had it. It was Mathien's album. Oh, God. Okay, so Mathien...
Are you ready? Yes.
Yeah.
Scrolls through Spotify.
So, Mathien, Mathien. I'd say their best album is probably... This is all one word. DoWhutNah.
Oh my God.
Nah, N-A-H?
N-A-H.
Wait, hang on a
And
second.
what is spelled with a U, and there's a question mark, exclamation mark.
Holy shit, that's so confusing.
Wait, so let's make sure to put all these songs.
Yeah,
We'll link these. So
Or in the description, yeah.
We'll put them in the
Mathien-
description or Instagram. We'll figure it out.
Mathien, DoWhutNah. I would say for like vocal.
You scroll past Pink Guy.
Yeah. for vocal like just beautiful vocals, I would say the Luke James album, self-titled Luke James.
What type of music is this?
That's kind of blue. It's not super. I don't know what genre it is. I don't know if I could describe what genre.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to put it into a big category.
I don't even. I haven't listened to it recently enough. I just remember his voice being like beautiful.
Okay.
But Luke James is a great artist to check out. And then finally, so the weird kind of rap-ish, Serengeti, the album Dennehy. So that's just kind of like a bizarre.
Why are all yours weird words? Like, they're spelled weird.
He's got bizarre music.
It's bizarre. So yeah, I would say Serengeti. There's 3 different albums I listen to, but I think Dennehy is probably one of the better ones.
I forgot to plug Bad Flower again. I just realized that.
Okay.
So that's my 3, and we'll link these all or list them all down.
I'm gonna slip in a 4th.
You ready, Dayton?
Gabe apparently wants to.
Oh no!
Four.
In the description.
Oh no!
No, you're not allowed to 4.
You've already
You
said
picked
it
3.
already.
No, you
might as well.
You
just
picked
say
3. It
it.
doesn't
No,
count.
we continue.
No. You
No,
want to
Dayton.
go.
Dayton,
Fourth.
go.
They don't even have an album.
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna come out swinging.
All right.
If you want some really weird electronic music, Pompelmo by Chong the Nomad.
Okay, this song is beautiful.
It is pretty freaking weird.
Have I heard this one yet?
I don't know. I checked
You
on,
definitely have.
I
Have I?
checked on
Okay.
Spotify, and I guess she only has like 4,000 listeners. So I kind of doubt that the listeners have ever even heard of this person. The second one, which is an EP by Miro, is Tapes. Just that entire EP. That's a really good album or EP. I couldn't really describe what it is, but he incorporates a lot of classical instruments. He incorporates in a lot of piano and kind of melds it with electronic music. all while having pretty good lyrics. So that's why I really like that. And then just another, in my opinion, another classic electronic song is Stress by Justice.
Okay.
That is
I did
just,
songs. I did albums.
it is just a really good song.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
makes you feel like actually stressed, which I think
It
is
doesn't sound fun at all.
I mean, for me, it's fun because I never get stressed. So it's like if I can like generate that emotion that I very rarely feel, it's just like,
Dude,
yeah.
do you see how much gray hair I fucking have right now? I do not need to be more stressed.
For the people that don't know Gabe, he is rocking the 45-year-old salt and pepper look at being 21. So
I have
just keep
salt
that
and
in
pepper
mind.
look.
All right, my 3 album recommendations. I'm gonna give you 3 different genres.
You don't even need Spotify.
No,
You don't
I
even
got
pull it up.
I got locked down. Number 1, I already said it, but the album Everybody by Logic. Even if you're not a hip hop fan, like I wasn't a hip hop fan until I heard Logic. Like, it is just a amazing. On one hand, a story because there is a narrative.
I actually want to give that a listen just from like you describing it.
Yeah, all of his albums have a narrative. This one has like literally like scenes in between the songs. With Neil deGrasse Tyson plays God in it. So one hand it's a really good story. On the other hand, just covers racial issues in a really interesting way, and it tells his backstory. And him being biracial, I think he has a really interesting perspective, and it's really awesome. So there's that for hip hop. Just on the rock front, I would say After Laughter by Paramore. It's their most recent album, and it's a concept album about depression, and specifically kind of putting on a fake kind of costume of happiness, and pretending to be happy, and putting on a fake smile when actually you're actually really depressed inside.
It's a really 21 Pilots type of like concept.
And the way I love it because the way they depict that is all of the songs are very upbeat and happy, but the lyrics are about depression. So it's like good dichotomy. So listen to the lyrics on that one for sure. But it's also just really good music to listen to. And then the third one is electronic, and probably my favorite EP of all time is by Eden, and it's called I Think You Think Too Much of Me. I think just beautiful production, beautiful songs. I would say the lyrics are pretty solid too, but like, I just love his sound so much, and it is a little sad sometimes.
Right.
It definitely is, yeah.
But God, he just knows how to make a song. So, I would say those 3 albums for sure.
I had trouble like narrowing it down to 3. Like as you guys are saying stuff, it came up with like more and more albums that I wanted to say.
I have a ton. I was trying to say.
Yeah,
different
I mean,
genres.
obviously, like we want to keep it short, but
Did you not like Vertigo?
I like Vertical, but I think You Think Too Much of Me the best for sure.
Yeah, that one definitely does. Well, the weird part about that is because he released 2 of those
songs previously.
Previously, like just as singles, like 2 years before he had released that album. So
they are slightly different though, because Fumes has a rap line in it now that wasn't in it before.
Fumes has Nash in it now.
Yeah.
Whereas it wasn't in there before, and then XO is just, I don't think XO changed at all.
No. Well, because the thing is, Eden used to be the Eden Project, and then he quit.
That's when I listened to him, like when he released Ghosts.
Yeah.
Which was a no copyright song.
Yeah.
Which was pretty interesting to me.
Well, yeah, because he used to be the Eden Project, then he quit music, right? And then he came back as just Eden.
Mm-hmm. Because they wanted a different sound.
Yeah, and I just found out about him last year, just as Eden, so I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then it was like, Alan to really, he's used to the Eden Project. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of old shit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff back there too. But,
yeah, because I used to listen to him back in, I think, junior high school as the Eden Project.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, I just love his voice so much. Yeah. All right, so we're already at time here. We had another topic. Do we want to just go long?
Nah.
No,
I don't think
I
so.
say we save it.
save it for
Alright.
next week.
Well,
It's a cliffhanger.
It is a cliffhanger. It's very
It's a good topic, so stay
It's
tuned.
so good you have to wait another week.
it's a little,
Same time, same channel.
it's a little spooky too.
Yeah.
it's
I
Halloween
mean, it
recently.
was around Halloween.
But-
I mean, at this point, it'll be 2 weeks past Halloween, right?
Yeah, it's
when
a
it
little
comes
too
out.
late. So, well, before we go, we do have an ad this week. Joseph, can you do the ad read for us?
So, we just got some ads recently.
Yeah, we got sponsored.
So here I have
making
the
money
script.
now.
I'll just pop this out for you. So thank you to parents, because without parents, none of us would be here. So we just like to say thank you to all of you guys.
I just gotta say,
Thank you and have a nice day.
I use Parents every day, and they're a good product.
They're pretty fantastic. You've been using them for 21 years, and nothing to complain.
Yeah, I've actually got the subscription.
Yeah, I'm paying full subscription model, and you know what? I'd never go back.
I even got the DLC where it gives me a stepmom and a stepdad.
Oh. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, that's our show. Thanks again for listening.
See you guys.
Follow us on socials.
Ooh,
Cannot forget
that's
Gabe.
socials.
Follow us on socials at EWF Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Please share. Our views are dropping by the week. We gotta get them back up, people.
What's our URL? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, so that's I keep forgetting, but yeah, SoundCloud. We only have our most recent 2 episodes because SoundCloud sucks. But you can find all of our episodes at ewfpodcast.libsyn.com.
That is correct.
All of them are up there for your downloading pleasure. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening. See you guys next week.
See you
All right,
guys.
see ya.
Bye.